tending to your Elegua, your warriors on Monday. So, you received the warriors, you received the Elegua, Gun, Ochosi, Osun, and you were advised every Monday to make a simple offering, some palm oil, some honey, a candle, cigar smoke, a little bit of rum, nothing big. The question is, do you do it? How often do you do it? Whether you are initiated into Ocha or not, what we call Naleyo, which I'm not a big fan of that word. How often do you do it? How often do you let it fall to the wayside? And I'm making this video because I want to express that simple Monday ritual is probably one of the most important things you can do for yourself and your life as a devotee to God and to the Orisha. Tending to your warriors prepares you not just to tend to your warriors, not just to be a devotee of Elegua, but to be an all-around devotee to all Orisha and Olodumare and the ancestors. In our faith, we believe that everything is about relationships. And just like any relationship you know of, the relationship between you and Orisha must be fostered. It must be made strong. It must be worked on. And I think one of the big issues that happen when you don't do your Monday ritual is that that's time not spent establishing or reinforcing that very, very important relationship with the divine. Okay, remember, Elegua, Echu, whatever you want to call him, is the divine messenger of all the Orisha. He is the divine messenger of Olodumare, right? Of Lofi. Okay, I can tell you a couple of Oduns that it says it, but it's pretty common knowledge. That's our. He is sort of the divine enforcer of Olofi's law. So when you're instructed to pay a weekly devotion to Elegba, and by extension the other warriors, the other Risha you received that day, you should take advantage of that. People often tend to, wait for that big moment, and then they want that one big moment to be all the spirituality dumped on them in one shot, and that's where they go wrong. You don't get initiated into Ocha, right, and expect one day to the next, suddenly the universe opens up to you in one big gulp, and that's it. Now you've reached nirvana, enlightenment, or whatever. Our religion and our faith never teaches that, but people expect it for some reason. And what I like to enforce is that those customs that you developed as an aleyo, as an ogberi, as a non-initiate, are going to come in really, really handy and really beneficial to you once you do initiate, right? Because if you can't manage a weekly devotion to one Orisha, how are you going to accustom yourself to the daily devotion required of an initiate? Now, I'm not saying that the daily devotion of an initiate is as time-consuming as your Monday ritual to Elegua, but there should be something every single day, right? So it's a good practice. It's a good chance to actually commune with the divine, to get used to communicating with the divine, to not simply be in the mundane world every second of the day. Okay, that Monday ritual, be it in the morning before you go to work, be it at night after you get home when you're not rushing, whatever works for you. But that little bit of stretching your arms towards that divine is an amazing practice, and it's so essential. I'm actually having trouble explaining how important I think it is. Needless to say, I think it's pretty important. For those of you who have warriors and have some doubts on how it should be, the best thing is call your godparent again and ask one more time. Hey, how does it go? What's the procedure? Every house is going to have a little bit of variation, but ultimately the devotion is the same. I think the most important time is prayer. When you pray from your heart, it's good. It's very good to learn the traditional prayers in Lukumi Yoruba. Very, very important, I think, because Lukumi is a sacred language, and the sacredness of that language sort of emphasizes. But until you can do it in Lukumi, start with your English, start with your Spanish, your Creole, whatever it is you pray, and pray to Odisha. One thing I like to do, and I was allowed to do when I was in Elegua, and I encourage people to do it if their godparent, if their Oluo, their Baba Tobi, their Iya Tobi permits. I like throwing Obi during my Monday attendance of Elegua. And so a lot of people will say, well, no, if you're not initiated, you can't throw Obi. Well, I'm just going to make a clarification. I'm not saying you can throw Obi for the sake of divination. That would be incorrect. Okay, you can't give yourself a reading. You can't give other people readings. And even if you are a priest and you're doing your Monday attendance to Elegua, the purpose is not for divination or reading. That's not what we're aiming for. And you can't do it anyway unless you're trained to do so. So essentially, when I throw Obi on Mondays, if I can, sometimes I just forget to get a fresh Obi. But when I do, it's one question, and that one question is, Elegba, is this offering accepted? Plain, real simple, right? Now, here's where the inexperienced get caught up. God forbid, Elegua says no. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. All that he is saying, for the most part, is he wants you to spend more time with him. Maybe he wants a little bit more rum. Maybe he wants a little bit more palm oil. Maybe he wants a little bit more cigar smoke. Maybe he wants a little bit of the ground up fish, right? The Elegua. Maybe he wants some toasted corn put on top, right? Don't go crazy. Right? If you get 4, 5, 6 negative answers in a row, simply close up shop. Boom. Call your godparent, your spiritual advisor, and let them know. Of course, you will have done this because you've gotten permission to throw with Obi. But let them know. Let them know you possibly might need a reading. Make sure everything's on the up and up, and it's 9 times out of 10, nothing serious, but just in case, right? But a lot of times, 4 or 5 negative answers in a row may allude to something deeper. But the idea of throwing Obi, why? Why am I a big fan of throwing Obi on Monday? Because we learn that the eldest of all sacrifices, or the eldest of all sacrifices, is good character, right? You really want to please God, and you really want to please the Orisha. You'll always exhibit good character. That's numero uno, right? But the second, right, is coconut, Obi, and Omitutu. Okay? And I hope this video helped you out, possibly even influenced the way you are going to practice, the frequency of your practice. Let me hear from you in the comments. Thanks.